Go to yourself. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
So yesterday, we have already completed what was the basics of WebGIS, its application. Wait for a minute. Now today we'll learn how to arrange this entire concept what we had yesterday into its application. So today we are talking about a web-based idea that is a emerging change in the paradigm in what the World Wide Web is and how it works. That is decentralization. Right now, each and every person is. It's not only about related to your GIS. If for any kind of development in any country, until unless you are not decentralizing the departments, if you are not decentralizing the units, you cannot achieve your goal. For example, right now, if the Prime Minister of India or any Chief Minister of any district would try to take all the responsibility of public health, then Ministry of Sports, tourism, then irrigation, water conservation, urban planning, forestry. Nobody can do all the work all alone. He has to, in order to have efficiency, in order to have a gain, in order to have a fame, you had to decentralize it, because if you're decentralizing it, you are distributing your work to the various other department. Yeah, you can have a check, you can have a methodology, you can see the quality, you can see the quantity of work what has been done in a year or 5 year or per month or per day. But if you try to handle the things all alone, you cannot win. Just like in a cricket match, if somebody who says that I all alone can win the match, maybe sometimes he may be true. But whenever you're playing any sports, that each and every individual is equally responsible for the match winning purposes. In the same way, in decentralization, you have to decentralize your work, means it implies conceptual, technical, and social aspect. Means when you're decentralizing the work, you're differentiating the work, like who will be involved in concept, who will be working in the technical aspect, and who will be working in the social aspect. Just like if you go in a university system, you have got different departments. Now different departments have got different heads. Now different heads has got different faculties. Now different faculties have got different lab techs. Now different lab techs have got different supporting staff. So all the work has been predefined, predetermined, and all are connected to each other. That is the university. In the same way, whenever you are putting the information into a web, the purpose of information is that the user can obtain or fetch the information what he is trying to search for. But if I'm going for any search for any kind of, for example, if I want to see my land records, so where should I go? So I'll be going to the land resource department. So there will be a land record portal. Then I'll be clicking it. Then there will be a new interface opening up. There, the name of the districts or blocks or villages, the taluk name, the plot number, all the things will be mentioned, and then your area of interest will be go on reducing it, and you can be a point specific. So all those things can be done only when your data set, whatever you have prepared for any area, is on web portal. So what you have to do, you have to create web as a platform. Platform, just like a satellite, is a platform where the sensors are mounted. In the same way, if you want to express your GIS data, you need a web platform. Secondly, you need a participation. Participation means participation from both the end, from server end, from client end, from the user end. Because we three are the participating agency on the basis of which either the client or the user will be fetching the data from your web platform. Next thought is content syndication. Content syndication means how would you like to see your web database, how will be its view, where will be the icons, at what level you are going to bring the data, what kind of data will be fed. Can the there is an option that any user can put a user interface into it, or it is all locked, only the map the viewer can visualize it in the form of maps, or in the form of tables, or in the form of graphs. What will be the output format in which the user can download the data set, whether it will be a jpg format or a pdf format or a TIFF format. So all those things has to be predetermined, prefixed prior to. So those works would be classified under conceptualization. And finally, a web-based services where all the programming, so all the commands would be written, and finally it will be connected to Web 2.0, where all the conceptual and social responsibility will be connected together. And when it comes to, this is all about your conceptual and the social elements, what it is connected to it, and what are the other inputs or the factors that are responsible for it. The other factor is the technical factor, where you will be writing all the commands, whether that is in XML, or whether that is in RSS, or whether that is in JavaScript, or whether that is a Ajax. All the scripts will be written, all the geo database will be prepared in either QGIS or ArcGIS, image processing in ADAS, NV, and all the data sets will be handled in your technical division. So this is a combination of both the concept, the social responsibility, the user, and finally the technical team who is handling the data set. So, what does this Wave 2.0 concept suggest about? That suggests about blogging. So nowadays you are seeing that many of the bloggers are very renowned and popular in India and universally across the world. They go on writing blogs, and blogs is more popular than the other format. Then you have got forums. Forums means day before yesterday, Rahul Sani sent me a QGIS member format or friend request to please join that forum that works in open software. There were 500 people connected to it, and that is the kind of forum where you can put any question to that domain of area of the experts with the same dimension, with the same value. Like if I'm working into the GIS, I'll be joining the GIS communities and the forum where we can get a solution to the problems what I am facing, whether it is into my daily life or whether that is into the uh, software or writing any models. Then you have got Wikipedia's, wikis that is popular. Then you have got social networks where each and every people, if today if you go to the world and you ask each and every person what is the minimum or the maximum time you are spending in social media. So I think that out of 24 hours, at least 8 to 10 hours, the youngsters are spending in various kinds of social networks, whether that is Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. It can be other forums where they are connecting. It's nothing bad in connecting in social networks, but it must be related to your studies. It must be related to your knowledge, it must be related to your creativity, it must be related to your what to do next in your life, not just uploading your pictures and sharing your beautiful moments. Yeah, that is equally important, but you have to have a balance when you are using the social networks, because right now if you have a good connection, like in LinkedIn is a social network too, where you can get enormous opportunities, or in other social networks where you can interact with big scientists across the world, even if India, where each and every place you cannot go in this lockdown period. So if you want to have a exchange of knowledge, if you want to have exchange of thought, if you want to have a exchange of some problem that you're facing and you're not able to solve it out, so you can approach the various person or researchers using ResearchGate, using academia. There are various platforms where the professors, scientists are connected to each other, and if you are needing some article or reference material, you're finding any difficulty in your research, you'll be finding that the big scientists are generally very generous in nature, and they will be providing you their materials to read, so that you can have a strong research background. Thereafter, you have got bookmarking. Bookmarking means you have got 10 to 15 data sets. You're working in entire India, but you are stuck up at 10 to 15 places where you want to show to your general manager or immediate boss that you have come up with recent findings, or there is a some negative. So you can mark it, just like it was in book times in your childhood days. There used to be a bookmarker in attached to your diary or your book, that this is the page where the last you have read, and what next, from what page you will be starting that book again to read. So that was the kind of bookmark. That is the same is for the web concept too. Then there is a concept of tagging. Tagging nowadays is very popular, especially in Facebook's, uh, in other forums too, where the people tag and you can see the profile, you can see all the information, whatever it is attached to. And it is not only about into the social networking. Tagging is also popular in India when it comes to GPS technology, because right now each and every individual wants to see the accuracy of your data and validate your data, and for that ground truthing or ground verification is very important. And for that, a geotagging of the points are being done with respect to your image feature or map feature or topographical sheet. And thereafter that, for the same area, a photography has been done or is being taken up, so that anybody can see the information or the area where what your map, whether the same exists in the field or there is some other story attached to it. Then you have got e-commerce. E-commerce is like marketing. Now, right now, you'll see that the online purchasing of products has increased a lot, and offline has reduced. Because of this pandemic, nobody wants to go to some common places for procurement of daily goods, whether that is ration, whether that is daily needs, or whether that is sports material, or whether that is your dress material or footwears. So nowadays, online business has been more popular. In the same way, online GIS database, online GIS search has also been increased, because lot number of libraries are closed. So in order to have a database and in order to have a knowledge, you are spending maximum time. So you will see that every now and then, if you have searched something related to footwear in some social networks or some online shopping platforms, the same product will be highlighted. Then you have got syndication, instant messaging. Messaging, just like in WhatsApp, is the most popular media. where we are messaging enough, we can get that has changed, that has revolutionized the entire information system. Then you have got mass up, then rich internet application, and finally collaborative software where I'm from stating right now, I'm staying in Rajasthan, anybody from Brazil, anybody from China, we can act together, we can work together, we can collaborate, and we can have our new findings related to the database what we have created, and that can be done only if our database is in common periphery, and that can be done only through web based interaction. Any issue till now? Yes, can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the slides?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So, what is the background of this Web 2.0? What we were talking about? Because all these things you are using daily in your life, but you don't know how it has been created, how it has been used, and how you can create yourself. So, we are trying to learn those techniques through which you can create your own websites. So it's a second generation of the services that is available on the web. It is the second generation of the services that lets collaborate and share information online. So right now, all the information I have, all the data sets I have, but I cannot share it online. So what is the meaning of that data set? Then what is the meaning of those research? If it is not shareable, if it is not collaborative, if the people cannot read it. So your entire thought, the revolution happens when there is a freedom of expression, where the if you go to the earlier times when we Britishers used to rule us. So the various programs that we celebrate, the pujas, that was to have an interaction, to have an information. What is the mood of the nation? What the different leaders are thinking about. So they used to narrate using some local languages or through some local media or channels. Right now, you have got televisions, you have got internet. At that point of time, there was no information. So that's why all these programs related to all the functions in the culture has been introduced in order to have an exchange of knowledge. But when it comes to education, the entire online system has changed. On your internet, on your mobile, using this web based, you can get all the information related to any of the topic of your interest. So this is the real importance of this web. Originally in 2004, the web 2.0 was referred to at this idea of web as a platform. Web as a platform. In 2004, it was recognized web as a platform of sharing the information and collaborating the information. The concept was such that instead of thinking of web as a place, right now, if I am putting a command, I'll be thinking that this is a place where I am typing it. So the concept is says that don't take web as a place, whereas the browser views data through a small reader's screen. The web was actually the platform that allowed people to get information done. So instead of as a place, if you view the data from the various reader section who can view, who can read, who can write, who can have their own thought processes after reading your information that was published on the web. So web is not a place, it's a platform where the people can get all the informations that they were searching for and they were looking in. So that is the kind of data sets that we're looking into. Now, O'Reilly Media and Media Life International popularized the term. So they were media. You see, right now, if you go in the entire world, media plays a very important role. So until unless you don't get that exposure, you don't get the information, you cannot use that information. So in order to use that information, you have to popularize the product. Now in India, you see the kind of awareness that is required. that the government of India, you have seen that there is a huge pandemic, lot of people lost their life. The only process through which you can stop this disease is using personal isolation, personal lockdown, wear mask, have 2 to 3 feet of distance from the other person, constantly wash your hands, and get yourself vaccinated. But when it comes to awareness in India, you can see that many in the televisions, you see that many of the people are saying that I won't take vaccinate. Why? Because of various misbelief or the misconcept that has been popularized in social networks, through media, through WhatsApp, through Facebook, about the ill effects of the vaccination, and that is totally wrong. So who has done that? It is the media. So the media play a very important role, either to have your image as a hero, or they can create you the same image as a villain. So in the same way, the media popularized this term, and a technology that used was Ajax, mashups, and RSS predominantly. So the web or 2.0 works on Ajax, mashups, and RSS. So we'll learn what are these terms associated to it. So as Web 2.0 is a services, what does this web provide you? So web provide you as a platform. Web is a platform where you can uh, load the data, you can collaborate with various persons, you can search the data, you can view the data, you can analyze the data, you can manipulate the data. So web is a platform. Next is software as a services, because you need software, because without software you cannot do any purpose, whether that is subsetting, mosaicing, classification, running artificial intelligence, putting the GIS database, geo tagging, geo referencing, then buffering. So what is that? This is a service. Software provide you a service. Then architecture of participation, that we have already seen how the client server, how the service provider, how the user is attached to it, and all this data are connected, viewed, and distributed and popularized using social media, because social media is the most important platform on which each and every person wants to share his view. You can see that recently there is a lot of fight going on Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, that the government of India has stated or come out with new rules and regulation related to this social networking sites. But this sites are run by the persons who are settled in America or US or Europe or Australia, and they have got their own source of earning, own source of people with their own culture, with their own knowledge. So what they want to do, they want to have a freedom. They don't want to have any kind of restrictions based on Indian mindset. Whether it's good or bad, that is a point of a debate. But you can see that the amount of influence that this social media has, that each and every public wants to write in Twitter. There are a lot of followers. There is trending going on, and all the big messages, all the big fights are being done on the social platform. So you can see that there is a lot of opportunity. There is a lot of openings in the field of web services. Now, how this Web 2.0 provides the infrastructure for innovation, because when you say web means innovation, web means infrastructure, web means platform, web means services. So how we are connected, how today if I'm taking a class, that is also web based. So we are connected, so you can be any person, you can whatever field you can find, you can make yourself in, and you can see that how peoples are connected through this web services. So the most important thing is to find and connect with people across the boundary. So we are connected. You can go in your own list, you will see that you have got friendship from China, you have got from Pakistan, you have got from Bangladesh, you have got from Europe, you have got from France, you have got from Germany, you have gone from. So this is beyond the boundary. It is not concentrated that we are Indian, so I won't have any friends from Nepal, or a Nepal person cannot say I cannot. So this is beyond the boundaries, rapidly distributed ideas, experience, and knowledge. So if you put something related to anything right now on the internet, there is a message coming on, and you post it, and you will have thousands of views, thousands of comments coming up. If it's a political debate, so there will be two or three views coming, one for, one against, one neutral. So what is that? That is the distribution of ideas. Somebody will be stating on the basis of statistics, somebody will putting their own logic, and somebody will be following as a follower. They'll try to protect their parties. So what is that? Is distribution of ideas. Then became aware of other things what are happening. Not only these websites or these web applications provide you about GIS, you can also learn what is the government doing, what is the bio department doing, what the forest department is doing, what the water resource department is doing, what the Namami Gange project is being all about, what is the condition of forest in India, what is the condition of glaciers across the world in India. So this is a interdisciplinary or knowledge of, or a reservoir of knowledge can be said that, and this taps the knowledge into informal network, and this all are connected to each other. So that was web as a platform. Now software as a service is a model of software delivery where the software company provides development, hosting, maintenance, daily technical operation, and support. So that happens. If you purchase a internet, or you support a laptop, if there is any problem, you go to that services, then they will say, "Ki, please provide me a remote server or logger or team viewer." Then they will check your server, they will maintain it, they will be providing the technical reports, and support system will be there. Whether I'll take with a small printer, if you're purchasing it, and if you have got some problem, there will be a person coming up, then they'll provide you new updates related to those software. Just like in ArcGIS, when I started my career, it was 9.1. Now you've got 10.4 coming up. Then at us, I used 8.1. Now it has got a 10 point something. One or two is continuing. So you can see how this technical support has been changing. So if I purchase a product, like if I product purchased is 10.1 version, and there is update in the software, then the company will approach to me, you see, the technical team has suggested that within 1 year, if there is an upgradation in the software, that is will be the free of cost charge, and if it's beyond 1 year, that will be the chargeable. So if it is beyond that, then they will be providing us the free services. If it is possible, they can send it through the remote server. If not, they will be sending their technician and the support. They will train you on that particular software and the trainings. Recently, you can see that there was lot of ventilators being purchased by government of India under the chairmanship of Honorable Prime Minister of India. And there is a lot of new being reported in the media channels that somewhere the doctors were not available, somewhere the technicals were not available, somewhere the doctors were available, but they were not able to handle up the software or the instrument. That was because the company didn't provided the real customer support system was not as good and it's supposed to be. So that also be must be seen into consideration, so that the number of losses can be reduced, because if I can operate, I can save life of 10 to 20 persons. But if I cannot operate, even if I've got an instrument, it's of no use. So that's why Software is a service just like a equipment. So this can be used for home customers, like an individual customer. That can be for a small business of 10 to 20 persons who are working in a company, and that can be into a big organization like ISRO, NRSC, NASA, and then the big water resource department of India or forest department of India, where they'll work up for this services. Now we will be reading about Ajax as we are talking about Web 2.0. So what is this Ajax on which this web is based on? So Ajax is not a technology in itself. The shorthand for Ajax is synchronous JavaScript and XML. The term was first used by Adaptive Part only in February 2015. Removes, and what is the advantage of this Ajax? That is synchronous JavaScript and XML. So when I'm talking about Ajax means web, then we are talking about JavaScript, we are talking about XML. So what does it do? It removes the need to reload the entire web page each time the user makes a change. So what does, it does allows the user to always change the page, because what you have to do, you have to ease your data, you have to make the data as easy, as comfortable to the user, so that he doesn't get irritated, he doesn't get bored up. So what does it does? It increase the web page interactivity, speed and usability. So because key, we are not taking a lot of, because this all operation that you are trying to do requires a space. So the minimum space you are taking, the maximum speed you will be getting, the maximum interactivity you will be having, the maximum usability you will be having. For example, we'll take the best. You've got a laptop, you've got 500 GB, and you go on storing on rubbish things to your laptop, and one day it will come that your system will be operating very slowly, because will hang up, because out of 500 only 10 GB is free. So what they will say, "Okay, either you clean up or your system will collapse." So the same thing happens in the web page also. If you are making it very easy with a minimum space size and more friendly towards the customer, you will have the maximum popularity. And what does XML do? XML is used as a format for transferring the data between the server and the client. So this is the format where the information from the server to the client is transferred. So XML files may be created dynamically by some form of server side scripting. So you will be writing some script, and on the basis of which the data will be transformed from one format to other format. So AGS techniques is used as a combination of, what is this combination? AGX is comprised of HTML, XHTML, CSS, JavaScript, XML, HTTP request, and frame object. So, how does Microsoft use this Ajax? So, the Microsoft is the premium user or the service provider, though hard to believe by public in reality that it started 3.0 iframe innovation and to do asynchronization loading of content. Today, Ajax core is based on Microsoft as XML HTTP request object to be introduced, i.e. 5.0. It is used and exploited by Outlook Web Access in Exchange 2000 timeframe. So what is AJAX? Again, we'll try to simplify it. It is synchronous, asynchronous, JavaScript, and XML. What does it does? It allows the updating of a web page without doing a page reload. So you have to not reload the page, and on the same page you can go on writing the scripts. Create much nicer and user-based experience. Ajax is not really a technology by itself, but it's a combination of JavaScript, XML, some service side scripting to create a XML, where you can transfer the data side from server side to the client side. So the server side scripting. So whatever script that you're writing for XML will be done in PHP, .NET, then Java server or Java server page. They are the other file formats on the basis of which you will be writing this all scripts for creation of WebGIS or web platform. It is not GIS, it's a web. You can put anything on your website. So what does this web page does? So it's a two-way process. One way you have got a web page, other way you have got a server-side script. So in the server-side script, you will be writing all the XML file, all the scripts will be run, and in the web page, all the information will be updated by Java script, and in between you will be writing all the command and the document that is connected to this server. So this is an example where you will be writing the script. This is the command what we have written, and the server side scripts contains and creates a well informed XML document, sets the content to text or XML, and can be written in any language as we have already seen, that is PHP, ASP, .NET, Java or JSP. So this is also a command that we'll be doing in our coming laboratory exercise key, how you will be writing the sample PHP script and how you will be getting the final product in this script. Then there we have got a state change where the document is received by the browser control and it's transferred to wherever we told it to. So that is the other command that we'll be writing this. This is the programming code that will be writing it in your web and we'll be creating it. So these are the methods, these are the properties that we'll be writing it. Okay, how it's already exchanged, then ready state, response text, response XML, status text. Then what are the different prototypes, scripts, and back database that you have to write. And finally, this is the web technology, okay, how this web GIS will be put into. So merging of geographical location based information with abstract information of traditional websites. Huge amount of data is available, high rest on tools like Google Map API. So nowadays, if you go to the Google Map and you type API, you'll get many of the test script already written, and that is free of cost, downloadable. You can use those script for creation of geotagging or creation of 3D visualization or whatever your area of interest it is. Then you have got geo RSS where you will be writing all such kinds of Google Maps, then World Keep Map Info, all the things will be uploaded into it. Then you have got GeoJanson, they are the other script that is used for this JavaScript and uploading of GIS into the web server side. So, Rahul,
Yes, sir.
so today we have more or less completed our topic, that is web GIS.
Okay, sir.
So, what is the outcome? Can you summarize it?
Sorry, sir.
Yeah. At least now you know how the data sets are being uploaded in the web portal. That you'll be learning it, not to worry, not to take load here. It's a new approach, it's a new technique that we are using it. So not to be scared enough, we'll be doing all the practicals, we'll be all clearing our doubts in more, because this is a kind of understanding that requires a lot of sitting, a lot of off time reading too. So not to worry, but in coming days we'll be doing all this exercises, and with this, I'll end for today's class on WebGIS. Okay,
Okay, okay, sir.
I'll stop sharing it.